Welcome back to the Ageless Factor with Alita St. James. She's a world-renowned master energy healer and intuitive life coach. She was the second biggest story internationally when she gave birth to twins at 57 and is the successful author of Life Shift, Let Go and Live Your Dreams. In the Ageless Factor, she will introduce you to amazing people she has met along the way. Here you will learn Alita's secrets to ageless living with some of the most highly esteemed professionals in the psycho-spiritual world. So welcome back and stay tuned for yet another episode of the Ageless Factor with Alita St. James. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the second season of my Be Ageless podcast. And I'm so excited today to launch it with a dear friend. Just met him, but I am so connected to him energetically, Michael Gelb. He's written 18 books. Millions and millions of copies have been sold all over the world. And he's going to talk to you basically about all his work. But what I want to focus on, and which I find fascinating now in the age reversal process, because, you know, I never use that word OLD. I always use ageless. I heard that Jane Fonda was looking fantastic in Cannes, and she said, I'm old, but I live young. So everything that I do, I live young. And, you know, that's fabulous, and she looks amazing. But I try to delete that word and move into agelessness, age reversal, longevity. Because for me, I'd rather vibrate up than vibrate in two different places. Now, Michael, the thing that I find most interesting and why I wanted Michael to share all his knowledge with you is he wrote a book, or many books, on how the brain functions. And as we get younger, I've noticed that there's certain things in my short-term memory that sometimes slip. And why is that? When actually the brain is the one organ that we have that doesn't age and can regenerate. So we're not doing the right things to regenerate it. Now, of course, I take my vitamins and I do all that kind of stuff, and I'm into the theta, beta, alpha waves or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, Michael's going to give you some really good information on the ageless factor for the brain, but also he works with the body. And he's just starting this new book. He's going to tell you all about it in terms of walking. Because, you know, as we get younger, it's not as easy to stabilize yourself as you're walking. And he's going to show you, in terms of what he's doing, how you can do that. All right, so I'm going to take my whole focus to Michael Gelb. I'm glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right, this is a treat. Watch.
So wonderful to be with you. It's funny you mentioned the thing about short-term memory, because the very first principle of improving your mind as you age, and your mind is designed to actually improve. The only question is, what's the best way to actually use it in order to improve it? And as with many things in life, that begins with our attitude. So one observes that once people turn 30, they start to buy into this mindset of becoming more decrepit. It's a big part of the mindset of our whole society that, oh, I've lost it, I'm getting old. And people, even as young as 30, they forget something and they say, my memory's going, I'm having a senior moment.
At 30? You're kidding.
I'm not, no, and then 40 and then 50. So in other words, but it's a long-term negative self-hypnosis that is reinforced by an advertising culture that focuses in an insane way on people 18 to 28. That's the big market. That's the image in advertising. That's when you're supposed to be most vital, most alive, most wonderful. That's the image of what you're supposed to be. And then after that,
it's over.
It's basically over. And that's even in your 40s and 50s. So forget about us. Except we're not forgetting about us.
No.
We are here.
We are very here.
So
we are in our 70s, by the way.
So, and you know, and I wrote this book, Brain Power, Improve Your Mind as You Age. I actually wrote it to celebrate my 60th birthday, which is about 12 years ago. And I am so glad I wrote it.
Me too.
Because here's the one thing I will tell you, as the years go by, your margin for error does get less. So in other words, it becomes that much more important to do the practices that will keep your vitality flowing, keep your mind sharp and actually improving, including your memory. So coming back to this first principle of attitude. So you probably know some young, very young people, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, grandchildren of friends.
Try my children.
Yeah. Okay. So young people, ask any teacher how much stuff 8-year-olds forget in school every day. I mean, besides their lessons, they forget their jackets, they forget their toys, they forget their iPhones sometimes, they forget anything that isn't attached. So the teacher says to little Johnny or Janie, you forgot your jacket. Johnny or Janie doesn't go, oh my God, I'm 8 years old and my memory's going. They don't say, you know what I mean? They don't say, I'm having a junior moment.
No. Right.
But somehow people tend to buy into this absurd notion that because you forgot, people forget things. The important thing is then you remember them.
Right.
And if you start to buy into this self-hypnosis that your memory is going, you are programming yourself for that to be the case, because you know this as well as anybody. You're a master teacher of the suggestions we give our mind and body become so.
Right.
So learn to consciously give those suggestions. And people say to me, oh my God, I'm having a senior moment. I forgot what I was talking about. So I said, you know what? It's going to come back. Have you ever had that experience? You think you forgot something, but you pause, and instead of beating yourself up and giving yourself a hard time and think, oh, my memory's going, you just let yourself be free for a moment and say, oh yeah, I know what I was talking. Oh, I remember where I left that. That's part of the design of the mind. And when you learn to rely on that, when you learn to make friends with your brain in this way and know that all that's stored there, and just ease up on the stress, and do a search, be curious, be open.
Okay, so Michael, does that have it? And this is so true because it happens to me. I relax and then all of a sudden the information comes. It is right on true. But in the terms of the frequency of the brain, the beta, the alpha, the theta, if you get all nervous, and that's what basically I get people more into alpha and theta, that's what meditation's all about, right? So if you don't get nervous and you get out of beta and then information comes, could you explain that a bit?
Sure.
About the brain waves? Because you've written a book on that as well, correct?
Well, so my co-author of Brain Power, Kelly Howell, is one of the pioneers into not just the research, but the real practice. She was one of the first to put out audio programs about binaural beats. We have links to them in the Brain Power book.
Great.
And we're still quite unsophisticated in our understanding of what's really happening with brain waves. Like we think we know, okay, beta is when we're sort of in beta now because we're active and we're thinking. And that's what the brain is meant to do. When you're downloading something and writing an email, you're in beta. And
I'm in theta though.
Well,
sorry. And so is he. I'm sorry. So says Michael. All right.
Well, but because,
how about alpha? I'll give you alpha.
No,
right?
It's okay. Because what we've learned to do is be multidimensional and to operate on many different dimensions at the same time.
Right.
So yes, that is true, but I don't want to confuse the audience.
All right, but let me give you, my audience is very sophisticated.
They can handle this, okay.
Okay, so the thing is about this, and one of the reasons why I have Michael with me, and why we're going to do like a power group this weekend, is because we've done a lot of work in the field. Michael's 71, I'm 76, and that's our wheelhouse, hippies, whatever. We were right in there, okay? So when we function on different dimensions. And because we're doing this whole podcast to elevate everyone's consciousness, including our own, because we're co-contributing to each other,
Yes.
we're in different levels of our brain. So I just want to give you a sidebar because you can get there too. With
Yes.
meditation, doing my work, doing Michael's work, it's perfect for that because you want to function out of higher levels of consciousness so you can create different realities in your life, like the attitude of my brain is ageless and my brain is regenerating itself. And I can relax, right? If I can't remember something, I'll relax, it'll come right to me. Not beat yourself up, but level up. I like that, Michael.
Right.
Don't
Not beat
beat
yours-
yourself up, level up. Okay, go on.
So the reason I emphasize the importance of this attitude is it's the first principle in the Brain Power book. If you don't buy into, if you don't accept the notion, which is research validated.
Okay.
So this is science. This is not just woo-woo, la-la, I believe it, and I was downloaded it from the universe. No, there's a lot of science to back up that reality, so much so that, so I interviewed a lot of neuroscientists and gerontologists for this book. And I didn't just ask them about their academic research. I also asked them, what do you actually do? What exercises do you do?
That's
What
great.
supplements do you take?
Yeah.
What do you eat and not eat? What are your tips on sleeping? What do you think is most important in your own life?
So what's the big message, would you say, from all of it with that?
Well, the biggest message is it's summed up in 2 words. So we're all familiar with the notion of a paradigm shift, right? Copernicus blew the world's mind by saying, guess what? The Earth is not the center of the cosmos. The sun is the center. There's something, a solar system. We orbit around the sun. People, whoa, unbelievable, right? Darwin comes along, huge paradigm shift. But the paradigm shift in the last 40 years is more personal and maybe more profound. And it's the essence of what neuroscience, and this is not speculation. This is, well, here's the thing about these neuroscientists.
Yeah.
They're not flippant. They don't make up new words just to be, for fun. So they came up with a new word, and it's a very important word for people to understand. The word is neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity.
So neuro means brain cell, of which you have many, and plasticity means flexible, changeable, adaptable.
Right.
Now, in order to really appreciate what neuroplasticity means, I coined another word, which is the paradigm that we certainly grew up with. And if you're older than 40, you grew up with it too. Even though it hasn't even filtered its way into the school system yet or into advertising or culture. But those of us growing up in the 50s, 60s, 70s certainly grew up when the dominant paradigm was what I call neurostasis.
Yes.
We grew up with a neurostatic paradigm that your brain power is set when you are 7 years old. That's the end of brain development. And you remember you were put in one of 2 classes, the dumb class or the smart class, right? And that was your fate.
Yeah.
And there was nothing you could do to change it. Plus, it was worse than that, too, because that paradigm had another correlate. And the other correlate was what I call neuronecrosis.
All right.
In other words, it was believed, necrosis meaning death.
Yeah.
It was believed that your brain cells die starting around age 29, 30, and they continue to die. Your brain is dying, and there's nothing you can do about it. So we grew up with neurostasis and neuronecrosis. But now,
But who thought of that? Where were they? What are we talking about?
Right.
Jesus, Michael.
we could do it. Let's get it, an investigative report. Who messed us up for hundreds of years?
Right.
But the important thing is who changed it.
Okay.
And the fact that it's changed.
Point.
This is what, because you asked, what's the essence? So the essence is neuroscience has gone from neurostasis to neuroplasticity, from neuronecrosis to neuroneogenesis. Neo means new.
Yeah.
Genesis means birth or growth.
Right.
Neuroneogenesis. In other words, you can not only grow new brain connections,
Right.
you can generate new brain cells.
Oh,
So you
God.
can create
Really? New brain cells?
You're creating your own new brain patterns, connections,
Yeah.
and empowering your brain. We are together, and hopefully
Right.
for everybody who's with us,
Right.
when you go, oh, I hadn't thought of that, and you think of something new, and the light bulb goes off, and you're opening new pathways in your brain. So one of the secrets is, first of all, to know that your brain is designed to improve with use. This is what science tells us now.
Okay, could you repeat that? This is really
Yes.
important. Go on.
Your brain is designed to improve with use. And let's get really real too about this too,
Yeah.
because your body is not, okay?
All right.
I had a total knee replacement. I had a total hip replacement. I just had a total shoulder replacement because I used those things up. I mean, I did a lot of martial arts, a lot of sports, and I just wore them away. Thank God I could get a new one. I have a new knee, a new hip, a new shoulder, but thank God I don't need a new brain. It's getting better.
This is getting better.
It's getting better and better.
Yeah.
It's getting better and better because I am on a daily basis doing everything that I teach everybody to do in these books, starting with understanding and integrating the paradigm of neuroplasticity and neuroneogenesis. So once you have that attitude, once you realize, wow, my brain is designed to improve with use. So then the question is, what's the best way to use it? And there's some very simple, practical things that everybody can do. And if you like, we can talk about what those are.
Yeah, but there's a question,
Sure.
right? Because I do a lot of seventh dimensional work. If we're creating new synapses and new, roads to belief systems and things of that, I do all the time with my clients. I release the negative, I put in the leveling up, and then I do energy work to put them in a higher frequency. But
Amen.
how much comes from the higher dimensions into our brain, or from our brain gets reactivated into the knowledge of the higher dimensions? Like, is it from up, down, or down, up, or together?
I think it's together.
All right.
I think it's together. It's like you
Okay.
want to, I want to, like, spiritually,
Yeah.
every day for many, many years, I found the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi emerges in my being. I went to his hermitage in Assisi, and
Me too.
and did you lie down next to the?
I've heard, yes, the whole thing. Yes.
So right there.
I'm half Italian.
Of course.
It's right in there.
I'm a quarter at that.
There you go. I was right there.
I was putting more dolce in my vita.
Yes.
So he says, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. So I do think of this all as an instrument, and it's an antenna. So there's a lot of static in this world, and if you don't tune the antenna, you don't get a clear reception of the divine broadcast.
Right.
It's available all the time. It's being broadcast round the clock.
Right.
But if you don't listen, if you're not tuning into it, if you're abusing this instrument, how can it, you're not getting as good reception.
Right.
So I look at it like, I want to get the reception. So my responsibility is to care for this instrument multidimensionally, make it as receptive and attuned as it can be. And then having written a lot about creativity and teaching this for many, many years, I think everything comes from a divine source. We just have to take
Tap
notes,
in.
tap
Right.
in. Yes.
So in this ageless factor,
Yes.
right? So I connect, and I've talked about this a lot. So I'm 76, but in my brain, I'm 36. 36, sometimes I'm 40. So I'm talking to the cells of my body, even though they're aging.
Yes.
But I'm using stem cells, and I'm using things that are now cutting edge to regenerate my cells. Now, I have a double hip replacement right after my pregnancy thing. Please God, you had the easy hip replacement, that you were out of the hospital in a day. No, he had the old one. Okay. I was out in 3 weeks.
It was a while ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I'm thinking, and how I'm working with myself, is that if you do the medical and you get the brain and the medical to vibrate to youthing, then I think you can start to regenerate the body, reversing itself. If you don't do that, it's not going to happen. because I agree with you, the body breaks down. I mean, I had a double hip replacement because I was an athlete and a dancer. I could do a knee replacement, but I was able to turn that around. And now I'm working on my shoulders.
Yes.
So the fact of the matter is as we advance, there are things out there that I'm doing in Cabo, Mexico,
Yes.
to regenerate, and also longevity doctors around. So I'm finding this fascinating in terms of what Michael's talking about, which is this neuroplasticity, and to get past the fact that this brain is decrepit. And I call it decrepitude.
Right.
Oh, no way, not relating to it at all. So continue. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I just...
Yes, no, thank you, because you bring up something that I share, remind myself of, and all my students and friends, which is we all need all the help we can get.
Right. It's true.
We all need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
And so what I try to do, what I did in Brain Power with Kelly, I like to make things as simple and accessible as possible without oversimplifying. Just get, Einstein called it optimal simplicity. He said things should be made as simple as possible, not simpler. So that's the sweet spot I'm always looking for.
All right.
So what are the research validated practical things that all of us can do to optimize our brain power as the years go by? So first one is adopt the notion that, of neuroplasticity and neuroneogenesis. So what can people actually practically do? Once they adopt the positive attitude, once they recognize, okay, my brain is designed to improve with use, then they ask the next logical question, what's the best way to use it?
Right.
And one of the simplest, most research validated things you can do is learn something new every day.
Oh, that's great. We like that, right?
Right?
Yep.
And and here's something that's inspiring and profoundly liberating. And it is that you don't have to be good at learning it to get the brain benefits. As a matter of fact, the more challenging what you take on is, the better it is for your brain. So maybe you've come across Dr. Daniel Amen.
Amen Institute.
Right, Amen Institute, a magnificent mind at any age. He's a brilliant, wonderful guy. He's now done hundreds of thousands of brain scans. He's really right there looking into the brain. I interviewed him for this book, and we're talking about the study that came out, it's like 25 years ago, from the New England Journal of Medicine that everybody talked about. It got headlines everywhere. Learn to do crossword puzzles. Remember that?
Right, yeah.
Learn to do mental sports, play chess, play bridge. And these are some of the most robust kinds of things you can do to strengthen your brain. But I'm talking to Dan, who's a great guy, and I say, well, not everybody wants to play chess or play bridge or do crosswords. Surely there's an underlying principle that's a more general guidance we can give to people. And what might that be? And he said, 15 minutes a day of something that's novel, in other words, it's new, and challenging. So it almost doesn't really matter what it is, and you don't have to be good at it. So for many years, I worked my way through graduate school as a professional juggler. And I juggled.
Of course.
I juggled with Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones and with Bob Dylan. I taught Joan London how to juggle live on Good Morning America.
Right.
And I continue to teach juggling to people of all ages because it's a thing that many people think they cannot do.
Right.
And we break it down, we teach them how to do it. And then when they do it, when they get the breakthrough to do this impossible thing, the first time the 3 balls land in their hand, they feel, oh my God, I can learn anything. And you can almost see as they're trying to do it at first and they're worried about grasping and catching the ball and I liberate them from that. I say, no, we're going to drop the balls on purpose. We're going to do it together. We're going to pick up the balls for you so you don't have to worry about making a mistake. So transforming your idea that goes with the old neurostatic, neuronecrotic paradigm that you have to get it right. You have to learn something right away. You have to have talent. Otherwise, there's no hope for you. Nonsense. This is the most profoundly powerful learning mechanism in the known universe, still far greater than anything AI can do. Just real I, your intelligence, your brain power, once you unleash it by transforming your fear of making mistakes, then you set
Soar.
this
You
incredible
soar.
power. That's
Yeah.
big time.
You know, that's very attuned to the ageless factor. One of the things is, for me, I teach people and I live it, get out of your comfort zone. If you can get out of your comfort zone, you can grow. If you stay doing the same thing all the time, the same way, in your comfort zone, this is where you're going to be. So I'm always expanding myself. And that's what we're asking you to do. Think about that, because that's exciting. That's exciting.
And let's help people a little more too, because so let's say different people have different comfort zones.
Right.
Okay. So whatever your comfort zone happens to be, let's say the average comfort zone is here, and we tell you get out of your comfort zone. So what we're not telling you is what you and I might do, which is go here.
Right.
You know, because we're that kind of people.
Go to Tibet.
Right. Yeah.
Go to India,
exactly.
You know, ride on a monkey.
Right, yeah.
Whatever.
Right. Just all you need. I've thought about this a lot because I work with a lot of people who are very wedded into their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And if you push them too far, they'll just go wing back here because they won't. But just 15%.
Yeah.
Go 15% outside of your comfort zone.
Right.
Maybe just go 12%. But what happens is when you get used to going, because everybody can tolerate that, they can embrace that, and then they feel some exhilaration, they feel some more energy, and they feel some more verve and happiness, and then all of a sudden, now your new baseline comfort zone is established here.
Right.
So now you go 15%. And then by doing incrementally, you don't have to blast it all apart and just change your life all at once. Just try something new. The thing you've always wanted to learn. Some people, I've always wanted to learn to speak Spanish or Italian or Japanese or whatever. Well,
do it.
Start taking the class today. Download some free program. Just start doing it today. We don't want to wait, till someday.
Yeah.
Because you'll be dead on someday.
Exactly.
It ain't going to happen. Now is the day to do it. Whatever you've always wanted to learn, just begin doing it. And
I love that. Just begin, just do it. Because I think as people get younger, they procrastinate. That I think is a killer. So I love that.
Right.
So maybe right now in the podcast, you can think yourself, like, what do I need to do to be able to follow Michael's knowledge about the brain and doing something a little different out of your comfort zone? And Alita's, go to wherever. I'm a little bit more expansive. But the fact of the matter is, start today, right?
Start today.
Write it down, start today, and then let it grow.
That's right.
Definitely let it grow.
And you maybe you decide, I want to learn this language. And then you decide, well, I'm not really that into it. You say, okay, let me play a musical instrument. Go take a lesson. What's so great now is everything that you ever wanted to learn is available for free instantaneously.
Yes.
So just do something every day. Read new things. Watch great podcasts.
Yes.
Oh my God, you're doing it. You're doing it. So today, check, I did.
Yeah, it's really
Right?
true.
Okay, so first, you embrace neuroplasticity, you embrace neurogenesis, you have this positive mindset. Your brain's designed to improve as you get older. Then, okay, what am I doing today? Just 15 minutes. And just to strengthen this point, let's say you try juggling, you think, oh, I'll never do this. Or let's say you've always wanted to sing, but you think you're no good at it. Well, it turns out that the more challenging it is, the better it is for your brain. So if you can go, and this is one of the secrets of highest levels expertise, the greatest masters of everything do deliberate practice of the most difficult parts of the endeavor.
Yeah.
But if you the reason most people don't do that is they don't want to feel incompetent. They're afraid of feeling that they're making a mistake. But when you embrace the idea of letting the balls drop, of there is no learning without mistakes. Babies don't learn to walk without falling down a lot of times. Just get up and keep walking. Babies are smiling and laughing and having fun. So if you embrace that attitude, it will empower your learning and you'll experience a personal renaissance. Another really important practical principle, and people are doing this by being with us today in this podcast, is surround yourself with inspiring role models for improving as the years go by.
Yeah. Dream team of support.
Dream team of support.
Not chat room of discontent.
Right, exactly.
Forget
Right.
that.
So, but it turns out this is also research validated,
Oh, great.
right? So there,
Right.
you probably knew this. There was this great guy named Jim Rome, who's a motivational speaker,
Right.
and his classic line was, "You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with."
Right.
But now it turns out that there is actual research into this.
Right.
It's a branch of social science. Nicholas Christakis and his colleagues have been studying this for many years. And it turns out that that's actually true. So that, in other words, if you are spending most of your time with people who are unhealthy, who don't exercise, who are addicted and in unhappy relationships,
It drags
it's
you
more
down.
likely that that's going to be you. And if you surround yourself with people who are generous and giving and open and happy and learning and exploring and loving and kind, that's more likely to be you. And the beautiful thing about the world today is you can do that virtually as well as with the people you choose to either be with or make a decision. Look, I love you, but I'm not investing my time and energy in being in this. People like to commiserate, which
Yeah.
means be miserable together.
Yeah, chat room of discontent.
The chat room of discontent. So, instead, surround yourself with this guy.
He's very wise. He doesn't say much. We like that.
We like hanging out with, right?
Just
But
transfers energy.
and the influences you put in your environment, in your home. I call it a brain nourishing environment.
Yeah, I love that.
Like look at everything, everything, and it wants to be functional, of course, and it wants to be as beautiful as it can be.
Right.
Surround yourself with beauty. Ask yourself this question every day. How can I make life more beautiful? How can I make life more beautiful for the people I interact with?
Right.
And then as you live that question, answers arise and life becomes more and more beautiful.
Right.
And you are more uplifted and you are more healed and your brain waves are more harmonized.
Right.
Because beauty is a mirror to truth and goodness. And
how you see it. And how you see it.
that's right. So you're working on it from both.
Now, you know what's interesting with that? Because it's a law of resonance, right?
Yes.
So in Ethiopia, the vows of marriage, they say, I see you with my eyes. So if you're with people that are at the same vibrational rate, they're inspired by their life and they're doing all these things, you get inspired because it just levels you up because you're excited about conversation. You're excited about, oh, you're going to India. Isn't that great? Instead of saying, oh, that's such a bad idea, Show me pictures, send me this,
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's really important. Even if you have one friend like that,
can make
or
all
one
the difference.
club that you join, one thing on the internet or whatever. I think that'd be really wonderful.
What's
Yeah.
amazing is a lot of people who've grown up in abusive, difficult, challenging environments where the message overall is you're nothing, you'll never amount to anything.
Yeah.
Many times those people overcome all of that and they're getting awarded a Nobel Prize or they're getting an Oscar or they're just won the NBA title or they're getting their Olympic gold medal. And they always ask them the question. They say, how do you feel? And then they say, what do you want to say? And they say, I owe it all. And they usually say something like, to my coach, my mom, my dad, my uncle, my brother, my counselor. And they say, who always believed in me. And frequently they say, I owe it all to God, who I always believed in. So whatever it takes.
Right.
But what's stunning is how just one person who believes in you
Yeah.
gravitate towards that. Because when we grow up traumatized and abused, we don't feel like we're worthy. So we don't attract that because we think, oh no, I can't have that. This is the message I received. So I have to resonate with that suffering.
Yeah.
That suffering. And at any moment, you can change your whole life and your whole world by just shifting out of that.
That's what I do in my work.
Yes.
So I hold a space because I will believe when my clients don't.
Yes.
Take out the trauma, level up
Yes.
to reality consciousness, but I will, like the infertility, will say, if you work with a leader long enough, you will get pregnant. You will. Because I'm getting you pregnant. You're getting you pregnant. The doctor's getting you pregnant. God's getting you pregnant. You are getting pregnant. So I just hold that space of pregnant. When it's hard, because when you're going through miscarriages and this and that,
Right.
it's hard to hold that. But that's really true. So when you get somebody who believes in you, then you are
Yes.
responsible for taking that into your system and starting to believe in yourself, which obviously the guys that win the Olympics and, you know, Oscar winners and et cetera, and us, right?
Yes.
We believe in ourselves and what we teach and what the results that we get. So believe, that's a really, really, really important part of the whole
Really important
matrix
part.
of living a
Yes.
happy, expanded
Yes.
life, right?
Yes. Yes.
And getting
Yes.
that brain cranking.
And doing that with the people in your life, with the influences, with what you're clicking on. You know, we have these devices that where everybody has now. And this is something that came to me over the years of teaching. I would hold it up and ask everybody to take it out. And then it'd say, now more than ever, for yourself and for your family, you must become the curator of your own soul. Because you possess here in your hand the key to heaven and hell. Through this device right now, you can get the teachings of the Buddha. You can get the teachings of Lao Tzu. You can get the Kabbalah. You can get the greatest wisdom, the greatest poetry, the most exquisite music. You can travel the world. You can learn. You can read the great books. You can get it almost all instantaneously and for free. But that's not how it's designed. What it's designed to do is capture your nervous system, prey on your gravest fears and insecurities,
Right,
and
right.
lock you into a hellhole of negative association, and it's hard to pull you back out. And that's there every time. And believe me, professionals have been working on how to hijack your brain and your nervous
Oh,
system
yeah. Oh, yeah.
and never give it back to you.
Absolutely.
So it takes profound intentionality, consciousness, awareness. Every time you pick up that device, choose heaven.
Yeah.
Put that on your iPhone. Choose heaven.
Like heaven is a reality.
Yeah.
We like that.
Now.
Yeah.
It's not later. It's
No.
heaven or hell right now,
Now.
today, based
Your
on everything
choice.
we're talking about.
Your choice. Okay, what's another thing?
So the other one that, again, I'm just going to do the really simplest ones.
Okay, that's fine.
The simplest
We're good.
ones, because we can be so sophisticated that we forget to do the simplest ones.
Okay.
And
So you got attitude, belief.
learning new things.
Right, learning new things.
Surrounding yourself with beauty and with positive influences and
Dream
supportive
team of support.
people. The brain nourishing environment, that's what I call it
Right.
in the book.
And
These two, the next two go hand in hand, but they're really important. Exercise and nutrition.
absolutely, right?
Exercise and nutrition.
Can you talk about this walking
Yeah.
that you're doing right now?
Yes.
You're writing a book on it, I believe.
Yes, I've written it. It's coming out in September.
Oh, great, great. What's it called?
It's called Walking Well, a new approach for comfort, vitality, and inspiration in every step.
It's great, right?
And we actually deliver, my co-author, Bruce Furtman, a kinesthetic genius. I've known him for 40 years. We're both teachers of the Alexander technique, Tai Chi, Qigong, Aikido. But we've each focused all of our lifetime study of the body, mind, and motion into something most of us do every day a lot, which is to walk. And we literally aim to deliver in our courses and in our book how to make walking actually easier so you'll want to do it more. We both teach Qigong and Tai Chi for many years, so how to get more vitality literally from every step.
Right.
And then everybody knows you get your best ideas when you're out for a walk in nature. Many of history's greatest geniuses, starting with Leonardo da Vinci,
Right.
who, by the way, among his many inventions, was a pedometer to measure his steps.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
So how do you optimize inspiration and spiritual attunement
Right.
from every walk you take? So if
By the
you,
way, can I just,
yeah,
Michael wrote a book, a very popular, successful book called How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci. Sold 750,000 books?
So far.
So far, right? That's amazing. So obviously, can you just give us a little bit of that right now
Well,
into the walking step thing? Yeah.
You want the walking thing or the Leonardo thing or both?
Both.
I got you. No, I got you covered.
Because I'm on a few different dimensions. I need both.
Right. We got you. Got you covered.
All right.
So we recognize Leonardo as perhaps history's greatest genius because he was a genius in both science and art. Everybody knows the Mona Lisa,
Right.
the Last Supper. He was a genius of anatomy. 40 years before Copernicus, he wrote that the sun does not move, il sole non si muove. He invented the pedometer and his other incredible inventions. So he's an amazing genius of both science and art. He's known as the uomo universale, the universal human, because the reason I believe he's so popular 550 years after he lived is he's the archetype of human potential. He's like a super being who had these godlike capacities in every dimension of life.
And was he in the 16th century, 14th?
He was 1452.
Wow.
It was when he was born, 500 years before me.
1452. Very good, Michael. Okay. The reincarnation of Leonardo.
Not of Leonardo. No, I think I'm the reincarnation of Francesco Melzi, who was Leonardo's main disciple.
Oh, okay.
And put together all of Leonardo's notebooks.
Wow.
So my calling was to translate them for the modern world.
There you go.
Because there are many books about Leonardo, but no one had ever got into his mind about what's he trying to teach us. That was my question. And then you read his notebooks, which I did over and over again. I traveled to his birthplace. I traveled to the place he died. I walked in his footsteps, and I started dreaming about him.
Yeah.
And from those dreams, 7 principles emerged.
Yeah.
Not 8, not 6, because there are 7 principles for thinking like Leonardo, which happen to be,
Right.
by themselves, a profound guide to how to improve your mind as you age. Leonardo said, iron that is not used will rust. Water that does not flow becomes stagnant. Thus it is with the human mind.
Wow.
And the first principle for thinking like Leonardo is what we're talking about here is curiosità, curiosity. Who has the most energy? What humans? Little babies.
Yeah.
Who has the greatest imagination? Little babies. Who is the most curious? Little children. So you want a renaissance of that energy, that imagination,
Magical
that aliveness
child,
you
right?
had.
Yeah.
This is when we say, enter the kingdom of heaven by becoming a little child.
Right.
We're not kidding, and this is heaven right now, when you embrace that enthusiasm, that openness, that curiosity, that playfulness, that sense of humor, that delight. That's the real underlying, because when you have that, then you'll naturally want to learn things.
Yeah.
Then you'll naturally want to surround yourself with other people who do that. You'll naturally want to get outside and exercise. And the great thing is, I see these poor people that go to the gym, they're pounding away, they're on the trail. It's like, God bless, it's better than just sitting on the couch.
Right.
But please, just go for a walk outside.
And then walk in which way? That you're
Yes.
What have you found in terms of walking? That's important.
Well, what we found is that we found a lot of things.
Okay.
And you need to learn them sequentially. It doesn't take long. You read the first chapter, you'll be walking differently. But I'll give you a little clue is that we haven't found anybody who doesn't slightly brace their feet and ankles before their foot impacts the ground.
Right.
And when you stop bracing, your whole life will change. When your feet become soft and pliable, and here's the amazing thing that happens, you feel Mother Earth supporting you with every step. Because guess what? You don't stand on your own 2 feet, ever. Your feet are part of you. You stand on Mother Earth. Even now, we're on the 5th floor of a building.
Yeah.
We're sitting on chairs. But the chairs go right down through into the foundation of this building, and we are being supported right now by Mother Earth. And this is
Goes all the way back.
transformational. It'll change your whole life.
Yeah.
It's a paradigm shift of everything. And this isn't just for beautiful walks in nature. This is even, and I'm speaking from my own experience, because since Bruce and I got together and started working on this book, every step I've taken has been different. When I get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I'm
You're
aware of my
conscious.
step and I'm feeling the support of Mother Earth. And I cannot tell you how healing and empowering and enlivening that is. And then when I do what I do every chance I get, which is go for a walk. I'm going to go after this. I'm going for a walk in Central Park.
Right.
Because it's a beautiful day and it's not far away.
Right.
And if I don't do that, I'd be driving home and then I wouldn't have a chance for a walk today. But I just make it a priority. And you do that every day. And 20 minutes, actually 12 minutes. So the American Heart Association has found 12 minutes of a walk each day. The health benefits, it's so, again, the research is overwhelming.
Right, but you want to do it consciously, the way Michael's explaining it, because I've done a lot of the grounding and the walking and the earth shoes. Do you remember the earth shoes? And the earth sheets, earthing, all things of that nature. We've done it all. So, but if you do it consciously,
That's right.
you know, it's another thing for women now. We're on heels. I don't wear them so much anymore, but that throws everything off.
Heels should be worn, in my opinion, only
On
from the
dates.
dining room to the bedroom.
Dining room to bedroom. That's it.
I mean, they have their purpose, and we admire them,
it.
but
Right.
it's not sexy to have lower back pain.
Everything gets thrown off. Although
Yes.
I will tell you that as a woman, when you have higher heels, it gives you a sense of power. That's why you have to learn how to be in your body and ground with your feet.
Well,
Because otherwise,
yes.
you don't feel as powerful.
I'm all in favor of all of that, but thinking about it holistically so that we get the benefits without suffering unnecessarily.
Exactly. Because as you get younger, you definitely feel it in your knees and your back. I have a very dear friend, gorgeous woman. She goes out a lot and she's on these big heels and her back kills her, but she keeps going through, you know? She does. So that's when you have to call in the stem cells, you know, and the Pilates every day, stem cells, you know, stuff of that nature. But no, this is really important to really ground in your feet.
So what we offer in Walking Well is it's a biomechanical approach. It's making some subtle little shifts. So this was originated by my co-author. What he did, it's all stuff I was familiar with and had taught through Tai Chi and Qigong and Alexander technique for years. But what he did was masterfully sequence it. And the sequence really works. Because when he originally wanted to share this with me, I was, kind of skeptical. I think I'm pretty good at teaching this already.
Yeah.
Show me what you got. I mean, it was not like, oh my God, what do you? No, I was very critical.
Yeah.
And I went,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah.
And then, you want to do this together? Yeah. And then we went through this intensely fabulous creative process where what came out of it was way better than either of us could have done alone. Genuine creative collaboration.
Yeah.
This comes out in September. I'm teaching Walking Well seminars at Omega Institute, at Kripalu.
What's your most present seminar at Omega? I think you're doing something.
I'm doing something on brain power, improve your mind as you age.
Okay.
Then I'm doing the Super Chi Summit, which is my Qigong seminar, which is the other. So walking, the other thing, exercise-wise, movement-wise, that in my lifetime of study, what gives you the most benefit, the most flow of energy, the most balancing of your whole being, the most attuning of the instrument to the highest vibrations in the simplest, most grounded way, Qigong.
Oh, there you go. So, Michael, tell everybody, how can they get in touch with you? Tell our audience.
Thank you. Yes. It's michaelgelb.com, Gelb. And when people go to michaelgelb.com, they can sign up for our free newsletter. And if you search around the website, you will find Qigong exercises. They're just there for free. I just put them out there because the world needs help.
Yeah.
I have a Qigong practice on taking yourself from force to power based on David Hawkins' book, to go from fear, resentment, anger, guilt, typical day at the office, to love, peace, and enlightenment and oneness with all creation.
Right.
Yeah, there's lots of fun, free stuff. michaelgelb.com, sign up, and all will be revealed.
Well, this was amazing. I mean, I'm so happy that I met Michael. I thought, oh my God, a kindred spirit, soul in male form. And this is amazing. And I must have him on my podcast. And I did. And the rest is history. So I'm going to continue our friendship and continue learning from Michael, of course. And hopefully he will learn a few things from me.
I would love to.
There you go.
Let's do it.
Love and blessings to you always on your journey to become a spiritual being having a physical experience to its ultimate. Alita St. James and Michael Gelb wish you all the love and joy you can possibly imagine, and then more.